You've all been waiting for.
All right, good morning. My name is Russell Ralston. I'm the Deputy Program Manager of EVA at Axiom Space. In the suit here this morning is Jim Stein. Jim is an extraordinary engineer. He's our chief engineer on our team. So we gave him the honors. Yeah, go ahead. We gave Jim the honors of demonstrating the suit this morning. I'm going to give him this little walking staff here. We are in Earth gravity. We're not on the moon, if anybody doesn't know. On the moon, the gravity is about 1/6 of what it is here. So just in case Jim loses his balance, for safety reasons, want him to have that. So I'm going to talk through the suit design just very briefly. And as I do that, Jim's going to perform some different actions, mobility, to demonstrate the mobility of the suit. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about this cover layer. So the cover layer that you see, the black, the orange, the blue, personally, I think this looks amazing. I want to thank Esther Marquise for helping us design this. Esther is a designer, a spacesuit designer on the show For All Mankind, if anyone has seen that on Apple TV+. So this suit has a lot of that worked into this. One of the differences between this suit and the suit that will be on the moon is that the moon suit will mostly be white. So we'll replace all the black with white. And that's really for thermal reasons, so didn't want anybody to get that mixed up. But other than that, I think this is just a fantastic looking suit. So let me go top to bottom here and just describe the suit overall. So we'll start with the light band. I think you guys saw the lights as Jim walked out on stage. The light band is mounted to the visor assembly, into the helmet bubble. And this essentially gives the astronauts lights to see where they're in shaded portions of the moon, or if they're in low Earth orbit. In a night pass, they can turn on these lights to see using tools or translating on the space station or anything like that. We also have on the side here, we have a HD video camera. So those of us back on Spaceship Earth watching the EVA will be able to watch it in high definition, which will be a fantastic upgrade, I think, from current day technology. All of this is mounted on the helmet bubble, which is mounted to what we call, in this configuration of our suit, the hard upper torso. So the hard upper torso goes roughly from Jim's waist up to the top. And this is kind of the core structure of the suit. It's what we attach everything to. So the arms, I'll talk about the backpack in a minute. So yeah, if Jim wants to demonstrate some of the arm mobility here, this really just provides us, again, some structure to mount things to. Each of the arms have a variety of mobility joints and elements that we've designed at Axiom, including the gloves. The gloves are a critical part of the suit design, especially for microgravity EVAs, where you're using them for hours at a time to translate, to operate tools, to fix things to the suit, and so on. So we put a ton of effort into those gloves, pretty proud of where they're at, and are confident those are going to perform very well. If Jim turns to the side here, some people may be wondering, hey, how do you even get in this suit? There's a hatch on the back, actually. You can see two hinges here. So this suit's a little bit different than the suits of kind of today that's used on the space station. So this is called a rear entry design or a back entry design. This hatch would open up. You would put your feet in, put your arms in, and then kind of shimmy down into the suit, and then we would close the hatch. Mounted to the hatch is this box, affectionately known as the backpack. We call it the portable life support system. So inside of this box are all the parts and the components to kind of keep you alive while you're doing EVA. You can think of it as like a very fancy scuba tank and air conditioner kind of combined into one. So on the lower torso, so let's start kind of from the waist going down to the boots. I'll let Jim do some squats and lunges and just show off some of the mobility that the suit has and demonstrate some different movements. There's a variety of joints that we've put as well into the lower torso assembly, and this is going to be a huge improvement over the Apollo suits. The Apollo suits didn't have many of these types of joints that we've put in this suit, so the astronauts will be more comfortable, have an easier time walking, performing tasks, getting down to to pick up a rock or something like that, or use a geology tool. And then the other thing that, that's a great demonstration there by Jim. The other thing I wanted to touch on is the boots. The boots are critical part of the suit, especially for the Artemis 3 mission and missions to the South Pole of the moon. We'll be entering regions called permanently shadowed regions. These are regions of the moon that never see sunlight, and they're very, very cold. And so it's very important that we insulate the boots appropriately to keep the astronauts' feet comfortable during the EVA. That's a portion of the design. There's as Mr. Suffredini mentioned, there's many portions of this design that we've kind of adopted from XEMU and are continuing to refine. That's an excellent portion. The XEMU team did a tremendous job, and a lot of our teammates did a tremendous job designing those boots. So we're taking those forward and refining them to flight. Those are really a key aspect of the suit. I think I've covered everything pretty quickly here at a high level. I don't think I've missed anything here. So I know we've got some questions and answers that we want to go to, but before we do that, I'd love to introduce our Director of Human Space Flight and upcoming commander of AX-2 mission to the International Space Station, Peggy Whitson. Peggy has spent a lot of time in spacesuits. So
I'm so excited to be here today. This is a great example of what innovation can do. This is going to be such a much more flexible suit, and the range of motion is really going to improve the astronauts' ability to do all those tasks that they're going to do while they're out exploring on the lunar surface and eventually on Mars. That would be so special. And we are here today actually because of this young group of people here that are here for the Moon to Mars Festival. We think that it's really important that we get you guys started on your spaceflight training. And it's really important because we know that you're going to be our future and you're going to be able to wear this suit someday. So we're very much looking forward to that. And we actually have some really little special guests that are going to ask some questions. And I have somebody I'd like to introduce who's going to help us out with that. This is my pilot, John Schaffner. We're flying on the Axiom 2 mission that's going to the International Space Station in a few months. And John is here to help me out and get some young people up here to chat with you and ask a few questions about this suit.
Here we go. Well, I have the extreme pleasure of talking to myself in the past. I had an astronaut in me since I was 10. It took me a while, but because of today, the wait has been worth it to talk to some people today. First, I'd like to thank NASA and Axiom for making all of this possible in the private and commercial spaceflight endeavor. I think it's a great step, and we're going to introduce some kids to you that I think will be your future, both for Axiom, Artemis, and NASA. So, I'd like to bring these young people down here that have brought us some really fabulous questions. By the way, thank you, Peggy. I look forward to our flight.
I do too. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Looking good.
Come on over here.
You know, this is great for me. This is actually my demographic, so I feel right at home. All right. Awesome. So what do you think? That's quite a suit, right?
Pretty neat, huh?
Good. Now, I understand you guys have some questions. Remington, you're 8 years old. You've been thinking about space for how long?
About a year.
Okay. So what is your question today?
Do you wear your space suit in space?
Oh, is that question for me? I'll take it. Well, I won't actually wear this suit. I might sneak back tonight and slip it on. We'll see what happens. But I think this suit will look great on you. So I'm looking forward to one day seeing you in space in this very suit. Would you like that? Cool. Good morning. You're Ian, right? Okay. How old are you?
I'm 5.
That's awesome. So you have a question for Russell. And Russell's right back here behind us. What is your question for Russell?
What's your favorite part about your spacesuit?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, if you're going to walk on the moon, I think you have to do it in some pretty cool shoes. So probably the boots. I think the boots are probably my favorite part.
He likes the boots. I like your shoes, by the way, today. Thank you for your question, Ian. You look good in this suit also. Hi, Charlotte. I met you a minute ago up there. You had a lot more to say then.
What?
So you have a question. I think it's for Peggy, right? Want me to help you? Yeah, I know she makes me nervous too. She's my commander, and she's a very famous astronaut, and it's okay. She has answers for everything. I've tried. So I think your question is, how far away is the Earth from Mars? Is that what you'd like to know?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
That's okay. I don't either, but Peggy knows.
I think it's 120.22 million miles away. That takes a long time to get there. Maybe like almost 9 months, but I'd sign up. So.
How far does your grandmother live away? Thank you for your question this morning. Viz, good morning, sir. 10 years old. You're almost going to be 11, though, right? All right. Okay, for Mark. Okay, Mark is right back here, the gentleman that introduced the suit to you. Okay, what is your question?
What characteristics about the suit will help us survive in space?
Microphone.
What characteristics about the suit will help us survive in space?
That's a great question, Viz. So, as you probably already know, deep space can be a very harsh environment. And there's no oxygen, there's no atmosphere. So when we design our suit, we have to make sure it can keep you warm, it can cool you, there's oxygen for you to breathe, and even food and water. So those are all very important aspects of our new spacesuit.
All right, you've got it from the top. Thank you. Remington, back to you. You had another question. This one I think was for Russell. Is that right?
I'll take it.
Okay. Okay, we're working on it. We're almost there.
How long can you live in space?
How long can you live in space? That's a great question. So we've had people, or NASA has had people as an agency on this International Space Station for over 20 years. Some of those individuals have stayed on the space station for over a year at a time, but we don't actually know how long. So we need to keep exploring, need to keep building space stations and going back to space to figure out answers to questions just like that.
That's long enough for me. Great job. Thank you. Jane, over to you in the pink. Okay, you have a question for Peggy? I have questions for her too, but how about you first? What is your question?
How many times can you go on a space mission as an astronaut?
I've been on 3 different space flights previously. They were long duration missions, and John and I are going to go on another mission together here shortly in a few months. And so that'll be 4, but I'm looking forward to any others I can get.
How many times would you like to go to space?
3.
Okay, we've got you down for that. Got you down for 3. Okay. Viz, last question's yours. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, this is for Bob, right behind you, Bob Cabana and Mike Suffredini. But these 2 gentlemen here, what is your question?
When will we see the spacesuit on the moon?
That is a great question, Vince, and NASA is working very, very hard to ensure that we keep Artemis 3 on track, and our goal is to have the first woman and next man back on the surface of the moon on Artemis 3 in 2025.
And they'll be wearing an Axiom lunar surface suit.
Awesome. How old will you be in 2025?
Sorry?
In 2025, when the suit is on the moon, yes. How old will you be?
23, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, 13. Awesome. The Artemis generation, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys in class.
Thanks for coming up, sweetie.